I want to apologize ahead of time because my audio breaks up a little bit later on in the video, but I don't think it's too bad, so I hope you stick with me. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, today I thought we'd talk about the Ryobi area light. There's a couple bad things about this thing, but there's also a reason why it may not matter. There's not much to unboxing this thing. It literally just comes in a package like this. I started out testing the light on this thing, and then I tested the USB port. After the testing, I'll tell you what things this thing would be great for, and what things it definitely would not. Alright, let's take a look at the features on this thing. So first of all, you have a hook on the top, and you can hang this thing up. It doesn't swivel this way, but it flips one way or the other. And this is just plastic. I wouldn't trust it, especially like in real cold temperatures. The power button is right here. You hit it once and it'll turn on. You hit it again, it'll go on low. Hit it again and it'll turn back off. The high is 330 lumens. The website and the packaging doesn't seem to say, but I would guess that on low it's probably about 150 lumens. On the bottom is where the battery goes. As you can see, there's no spot for a cord, so this is not a hybrid or dual power option, it's battery only. Alright, here we are in the bathroom with the light on low. You can see the details in the tiles. You can see all the individual slots on the mini blinds. You can see the knobs and the detail in the grain and the wood on the cabinet. You can clearly see where the hooks are on the back of the door. And of course, it's very important, you can see where the handle is so you can flush. Alright, this is with the light on high. To me, it's actually maybe too bright. Alright, now we're in a different room. It's bigger, not painted white. You can see one wall is green, one wall is gray. I don't think I would want to spend a whole lot of time reading by this light. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to read by this light, but you can see to just like walk around, grab stuff, and do things. Alright, in that same room with the light on high. You can see the details and stuff more clearly with the light on high. Alright, still on high. You can definitely read a lot better with it on high. It's not like super bright for reading, but I think you could do it. Next, I tested the USB port, and well, here's what happened. Alright, please nobody get triggered because we're looking at a Ryobi light and it's sitting on top of a Milwaukee blow mold case. But if you do, you can comment with something like Milwaukee blows because it's a blow mold case. Anyway, maybe I'm too amused by that. This is the power button. If you're looking at that, on the left-hand side is where your USB port is. So let's plug in a cord and see what happens when we plug in our phone. All right, try to do this one-handed. There we go, got it. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this light on high. And let's go ahead and try to plug in our phone. And it is charging. Oh yeah, and by the way, I didn't notice anything with the light dimming or anything like that when I plugged the phone in, so that's good. Alright, so the light is still on high. And I unplugged the phone, and now we have the iPad mini here. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. It's at 11% right now. And we're charging. I didn't notice any flicker in the light, so we know it still handles that really well. This has a bigger battery than my phone, so we'll see how long it takes to charge up from 11% to 100%, and then we'll see how long the light lasts after that. And again, this is an iPad mini, and I don't know if you guys heard that, but when you first plug it in, let me do that again. You first plug that in, and there is a little bit of like a buzzing noise. Can you guys hear that? Anyway, let's see how it goes. All right, it's been 37 minutes and we are at 14%. So it's taking a long time to charge. Not only that, but check this out. See if I can do this one-handed for you. We're down to 3 bars. And this thing's only up to 3%. Or only up 3% from where it was. From 11 to 14, so wow. All right, everybody, this thing is excruciatingly slow. So it has been just over an hour, and we are only up to 16%, which means we have only gone up 5% from 11%. And check this out. We're down to half a battery. So we got 5% charge on an iPad mini with half of this P107 battery that is supposed to be 28 watt hours. And this thing is way slower than any other 1 amp charger that I've used with this iPad mini. So, all right, we've been charging for about 2 hours. I turned off this light, and we're actually up to 24%, and we're still at half a battery. So we're actually making progress. So without the light on, you might actually be able to charge your phone a little bit. I still wouldn't recommend using this for that. All right, everybody, this test is getting kind of excruciating. After 4 hours and 18 minutes, we're now up to 38%. So we've gone from 11% to 38%. So we're talking, what, 27% gain in 4 hours and 18 minutes. And now, where are we at with the battery? We are at 1 bar. So battery is getting low. All right, everybody, after 5 hours and 18 minutes, we are at pretty much no battery, and this thing is at 47%, although it says it's not charging. So that means that it has dropped enough, the battery is getting low enough that it's no longer charging the iPad. Let's see if the light will turn on. Oh, the light still turns on though. So there's still enough battery to use the light for a bit. Let's leave it on and see how long that lasts. Let's put it on high. All right, the light has gone out, and the iPad doesn't even recognize that it is even plugged in. Ryobi claims that this thing consumes 3 watts. I don't know where they get that, because in my experience, at least doing the math, it seemed to consume a lot more than that on high, but a lot less than that on low. I tested with this P107 battery, which Ryobi says is 1.5 amp hours, which, close enough, it's actually a little more than 1.5 amp hours. It's 28 watt hours. The light lasted 4 hours and 48 minutes on high, and almost exactly 14 hours on low. So that means, according to my calculations, that this thing consumed 5.83 watts on high and 2 watts on low. Ryobi says that this thing will last up to 48 hours on a 4 amp hour battery, which would make sense on low. Ryobi also says that this thing will last up to 73 hours on a 6 amp hour battery, which again would have to be on low. So what situations and uses are this thing good for? Well, it's really good for things like if your power goes out and you need to be able to see to go to the bathroom, or you want to put it somewhere in the room that you're going to be sitting and just to have enough light to sit and do something. You might even be able to read by it, but I would suggest maybe having it on high in order to read by it. Or just getting up and walking and not stubbing your toe on some furniture. So this would be good for that. It would be good for setting it inside of a tent, illuminating everything in the tent. This would be good for setting it on a patio table outside, playing cards. On the other hand, you won't be able to illuminate your whole yard with this thing. It's just not bright enough. If you have a project that requires a lot of light, this thing isn't going to work for that. But on the other hand, if you have a project where you're just in a small to medium-sized room, you don't need a ton of light, this thing is great for that. So that's one of the drawbacks on this thing, is that it's not super bright. The other drawback in my mind is this USB port. The USB port should almost be an embarrassment to Ryobi. You guys already know that I love some of my Ryobi tools, but the USB port on this thing just is not very good. Technically, I was able to trickle charge my iPad even with the light on, but it was so slow that I would question whether it's actually even 1 amp coming out of this port. To me, this port is almost a non-feature. The only thing that I can really see this USB port potentially being useful for is if you're lost in the woods or some other emergency situation, yet you can spare the time in order to let your phone charge over a long period of time just to get a few minutes of talk time to make an emergency call, then sure, it'll work for that. If you wanted to take it camping with you and charge up your phone overnight, you could probably do that, but it's going to take up a ton of this battery. If all you're looking to do is charge your phone, then you'd be much better off with something like this. Not only does it have 2 USB ports, but they are 2.4 amps instead of 1 amp. So it's going to charge your phone faster. Not only that, but you have a AC outlet here that can go up to 150 watts. So you can plug in something like a fan. Now, you can also plug in a phone, a tablet, and a fan and run them all at the same time. And you have a light on top. I'll link a video in the description that I did a review on this, but spoiler alert, this thing is great. So I wouldn't buy this thing if you need the light to be super bright, and I wouldn't buy it for the USB port. So if you want an area light that you can take camping or when the power goes out and just works really well and has excellent battery life, this thing is awesome. Especially if you were using this thing on low and you had a 6 amp hour battery. Can you imagine? 73 hours? You could use this thing for 5 hours a night for over 2 weeks without having to recharge the battery. And there you go, there's a look at the Ryobi area light. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments for me. I'd love to talk to you down there. Also, if you have this area light, let me know what your experience has been with it. And if you have a different light that you really like, let me know what that is. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you next time. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. If you want to be the first one to put "light it up" in the comments, then you can win a $20 gift card. Thanks for watching. See if I can do this one-handed. Ryobi claims this thing can up and walk around without being able to well, you're hanging out, but it's not going to light up your whole yacht. The only thing that I can really see this USB port potentially being useful for is if you're lost in the woods or some other emergency situation. But if you need an area light just to be able to get around if the power's out or to take camping and you want some excellent battery life, I would say go for it. This thing, go for it. Go for. Sound like I'm talking about an animal.